If you wouldn't mind, do you want to just introduce yourself and tell me a little bit more about who you are?
Yeah, sure thing. Thank you so much for giving me your time to be here today. Super glad to be here. To give you a little background on myself, my name is Juan Juardo-Blanco. I'm co-founder and CEO of Clockout. And we started off this past January.
Awesome, awesome. So Juan, you and I met through Techstars and through another program called Food Ag Ideas Week here in Minnesota. What brought you here? What is Clockout?
So Clockout, well, to give you a little background, I used to work is in my first attempt to building a fintech startup last year. We were building a multi-currency Venmo for my home country, Venezuela. As I was working in parallel as a server, worked my way up from a dishwasher all the way to a management position. And I couldn't have access to my daily tips and hourly wage earnings, which really brought financial stress into my life. And the solutions were either recurring to high yield payday loans or simply just falling behind financial obligation. This was a very deep problem that I found myself personally, and I really, did some research. I asked my peers, my coworkers, and it appeared that all of us, being low income earners, had the same issue: need for cash liquidity on an instant basis. And that's where we built Clockout. Clockout is a platform that enables any kind of worker, salary or hourly based, or even a gig worker, to have instant compensation on a daily basis. With our platform, employees can go to work, they can clock out, and they can cash out live earnings instantly into any bank of choice.
So give me a little bit of more background as to, so you and I share some similarities. We might not look the same, but I think we have a lot of the same use cases that probably brought you to where you are, right? So to give the audience some more context, maybe people that don't have the same types of things going on in the day to days, why is clock out important for people that need access to their cash right away?
In terms of, as inflation continues to rise, the biweekly payment cycle is just becoming more and more of a burden for employees. Nowadays, the need for cash liquidity has never been more important. And as the economy keeps falling down, this is something that's going to be naturally needed. And in terms of use cases, daily bills, expenses, they don't wait, right? And your bills don't wait for you, and your paycheck shouldn't either. And that's kind of what we're going at. For me specifically, gas money. You have no idea the amount of immigrant and Latino workers that cannot make it to their job just because their card broke down or they don't have money for the gas, and they just simply fall in this downward spiral where they can make more money than their expenses, and it just leads them to even 400% APRs on payday loans.
So give me an example of a use case of you want to send money back to family in Venezuela in the old system versus the system that you're trying to create. What's the differentiation?
Yeah, sure thing. Well, initially, first, that we're using the rails of Visa and MasterCard to send cross border payments instantly into their local currency without the need of going either to a Western Union or going to a MoneyGram or going to a Remitly. Nowadays, you can either do it through cash and having your cash on hand, either on a Western Union, or you can go to Remitly or Zoom or MoneyGram to send money online. However, two things. You first need your cash on hand, right? And a lot of low income earners, specifically immigrants, um, they're tied in terms of financial constraint, and also the fees range from six up to $10. And what we're doing here is that you're able to send money as you earned without funds that you haven't been paid for. You pay half of the price of what's currently been paid for, and you send money instantly through a simple payment gateway that arrives into any bank of choice cross border in their local currency.
Yeah, I think it's super amazing because when we sat down during that 5 minute round robin session, when you told me exactly what you did, I thought to myself, man, when I send money for my folks, not for my folks, but my folks' family in Korea, we used to send it through cashier's check. And that whole process, even if you're sending like $100, 200, $300, you end up spending 10, 15, $20 in fees. And so when you can lose up to 10%, maybe even 15, 20% of the payment you're sending, especially if you're making minimum wage, it's a huge extra cost that the old systems are so broken. So I think it's very intriguing, and part of the reason why I invited you on this podcast is because we as an investment firm are looking for opportunities that are addressing the needs of underrepresented end users, right? And so, and it's kind of funny because we say underrepresented, but there's millions of people that fit this mold. So, like, give people an idea of like how many people this would potentially impact.
Yeah, so there's actually 20 for in terms of my personal background in the Latino community, there's 29 million employed Latinos here in the workforce and over 28 million foreign born in the workforce as well. People that not only are underserved, have poor access to financial products and credit here in this country, but also have this huge financial barrier to interact on a cross-border basis with their home country as well, which is very important for someone, that is not native here.
Yeah, speaking of not native here, how long ago did you come to the States?
I came here 8 years ago from Venezuela.
And what was that experience like the first time you had to send money back, or have you, or I mean, maybe you're still doing it now, but like what, like how painful or how easy was that process for you?
It's actually super painful with the Venezuelan situation currently because they actually have an unofficial dollarized economy where you only move cash there in the majority of the basis to do any transaction. But if you want to move digital money, digital dollars inside the economy, it's a hassle. People there don't have access actually to digital dollars. They have to recur to either friends or family members that have a bank account here to transact through Zelle, to go through a supermarket, or to buy any kinds of good and service over there. It was very bad in terms of commercial interaction that you see with each other there. And for us as well to have them send actual local currency is impossible because with hyperinflation in the country, whatever you store in the local currency is not going to be the same in value as the day after.
So talk so talk a little bit about what you've done so far. Oh, well, let me back up. How long have you been working on Clockout, and what have you accomplished to date?
Yeah, so idea generation came about last year after we pivoted from Walla, which is the multi-currency Venmo for Venezuela. We did some market research. We did an extensive survey of 320 workers, and that basically said that 77% of the employees would use a platform like Lockout, and they're willing to cash out up to 52% of their check, which is a lot. So this really brought the first initial market validation of there's a personal problem that we're having. There's a need for a solution. And also, people in the survey said that they were willing to pay for a solution like this. So we raised a friends and family of 300K. In January, we started the kickoff for the development of the platform. As we were gaining traction through a waitlist, we were fortunate to come across the Techstars Farm to Fork program, where we applied, we got in, and it was an unbelievable experience what we went through there. Initially, we were really targeted into the restaurant and hospitality space due to our deep intimacy into the industry. We know the ins and outs of it. But this program really enabled us to think bigger and optimize our platform to be able to serve any kind of worker across industries, right? And this is a problem still. Lack of cash liquidity and better access to financial products is something that's present there. So through a new integration that we did, we're now able to not only take away the employer from the equation and be able to serve directly on the employee level, but in any industry. And if you're also a gig worker, you're also welcome to use each other platform. And I'm super excited to announce that actually our first customers are using our platform in Carmela Coffee. It's an 8-unit coffee shop here in South Florida. And they're super excited. We have 26 business units that are ready to be onboarded with over 300 workers. So super excited to get them all on board and keep expanding our customer base.
Congratulations, that's huge. I know, saying that someone started last year, and then knowing that you're already with a product in market in the tech space, in fintech, that's a huge feat. So kudos to you and your team. Speaking of team, who else is helping you build out Clockwork and bring it to the masses?
Yeah, sure thing. So our team is made out of 4 people. I actually have two co-founders, the best guys ever. I have Anthony Tardunia, who's actually my best friend. We met since elementary school back in Venezuela. We moved here and then we reconnected in college and came about. He's our COO. He's in charge of all design, marketing, and really getting the good branding and messaging out there, which is amazing. And then our CTO and co-founder, Jeremy Pagli. He has over 9 years as a senior engineer. He's done integrations for Universal Studios and Disney and has a lot of background in fintech products. So it's a cool thing about our team because our background and our own personal experience working in the restaurant space really give us a lot of intimacy into not only the problem that we're solving, but the audience that we're targeting initially. But also, we have a very good technical team where we do have the capabilities of bringing a product from 0 to 1 and really executing what we envision for Clockout.
Gotcha. I love it. Um, For you as a co-founder of this company and for your other co-founders, what keeps you guys up at night?
Our product is totally contingent on our growth into a credit facility, right? We need to have the financial liquidity in order to, sustain all the advances requested by employees. At the moment, we have $125,000 raised in the line of credit, but this is something that we know in the background is not only about growing our customer base, but also growing a financial backend that will be able to sustain this operation. We do have a plan in place through private investors and other local financial institutions to keep extending this line of credit. But this is something that's definitely contingent with their growth and something that without that, our business does not work.
From a financial institution perspective, what types of key stakeholders do you need to engage with to start the conversations about this as an opportunity for them to partner with you?
Definitely private business banking, clients, associates in the financial institutions. What we're planning to do also is to really partner and use local networks in local financial offices here that will be able to connect us to either presidents of banks or the local regional management where we can actually engage into a kind of unorthodox operative line of credit with these institutions. What we're really looking for with our launch here is to get enough real usage data where we can prove that we have 0% repayment risk and that we're actually generating a good amount of revenue and cash flow out of this line of credit in order to keep purchasing more money in the future.
Yeah, and as you get bigger, you have more redundancies in place to mitigate risks of one individual not repaying and stuff like that. So it makes a lot of sense. With scale comes a lot more resiliency and redundancies in place. Um, I'm always curious as an early stage investor. We're often investing in people because revenue's not proven out, product's not proven out, and we all know that the people stay the same, but the ideas might change over time. What's your leverage? And when I say leverage, I mean like what's your secret sauce as a team that investors should be excited about?
Well, definitely intimate connection into the problem in the audience, a resilient background on not only looking at problems as problems, but really focusing on the solution. Because every day we really focus on burning down fires and keep making progress. And it's all about being resilient and hungry and driven to make and execute that vision. We're people that are very smart, very intelligent. We're very well going as well. We can really take work on pressure. I love working under pressure, to be honest. And this is definitely a space to be at if you like this, for sure. And we really execute fast. I mean, I'm very happy with what we've done so far in terms of business development and what we've done to the company, and the performance of our CTO to execute and build the product from 0 to 1 has been impeccable. And we're super excited to what's to come.
If there is like a small business owner that owns a few, let's say, coffee shops or restaurants, and they are curious about learning more about this, is their best approach to just reach out via the website, or are you taking like a waiting list approach? Like, how are you doing that so far?
Yeah, well, to generate leads, we're doing it through either email. You can reach out through email, or you can do a contact form on the website. And what we're trying to do is a simple 3-step process for any employer to have a free earned wage access program that they can onboard with each of their employees without having to do any sign up or having to do any legal contracting or go through any long cycle of decision making, just to give instant access and endorsement to instant payments to their employees.
So, speaking of employees or end users, walk me through if I wanted to use your platform, how long does it take? What do I need to have? Yeah, basically the user experience.
Yeah, sure thing. So if you're right now, if you're an employee, because we have two models and I'll go over both. Initially, we're going to market with a B2B2C approach where we have the onboarding on both the employee and the employer side. On the employer side, just mostly to get that repayment gateway on an automated basis on payday. And right now, what the employees have to go through is you sign up. It takes probably a minute or two. You put you don't have to put any real financial personal information, which is good because it's not really intrusive into personal finances, especially of low income earners, which is that could be something that they might be shy about with a product like this, which is really cool. You look up your employer, you request approval. Once you're approved by your employer, you're able now through our payroll data aggregator to connect either your payroll and your time and attendance account. So we can track both 100% of post-tax deductions earnings, not only getting the tax and deductions from your payroll, but your variable income, all based on your time and attendance, right? If you're an hourly worker. But the cool thing is that also later on in 5 to 6 weeks, when we go to this B2C model that I'm going to explain in a bit, you'll be able to also onboard a Lyft or an Uber app or a Grubhub. If you're a gig worker on the side, you're also able to have a centralized financial hub in the platform, which is pretty cool. But moving on to the new model that we're going towards to is to really fully empower the employee, right? So we want to remove completely the employer from the equation by providing a bank account to every worker. And the onboarding process, how this would go, we would remove the fact that you have to request approval from an employer. You can just directly connect to your current payroll and time and attendance system and any gig working platform if you would like. And you're ready to cash out instantly up to 100% of your earnings. And what we're moving towards to here, because our business model, we charge a nominal transaction fee from 99 cents up to 2.99, depending on the volume per transaction. We want to empower the worker with this new bank account to have a secure charge card where they're not only able to spend and use their money for free, but they can build credit and open financial opportunities for them as they use their unpaid earnings.
Yeah, I think that's a really cool opportunity. One of my areas of passion outside of healthcare is financial health, right? I think uh, today it's more and more evident looking at how many people have to live paycheck to paycheck or have other financial hardships. And, I think about myself personally being probably like 23 or 24 before I even started investing in a 401k, and not because I
Wow.
didn't have an opportunity to, but just because I didn't really, no one ever told me I should, and so I didn't. But looking back, I know for a fact that I'm gonna force my kids when I have kids to open up an account as soon as they can, because that the compounding effect of having that money accruing value for as long as you can is so impactful and so powerful. And so the idea that you guys are gonna kind of, and I don't like using the word, but it's the best word for it. Hack your way into creating more financial literacy, financial resilience for the people that might need it more, but might not know about it. Is kind of very exciting to hear about. I want to keep these pretty tight, so just want to end with two things. One is, if this goes as good as it can go, what's the big grand vision for you and your team? When you sat down at the whiteboard day one and you said, we want to invest 5, 10, 15 years of our life to clock out, like, why are we doing this? What was the big unicorn reason for it?
We want to remove any type of payment cycle whatsoever. We want to empower workers to have a full bank platform that would open them not only to financial wellness and financial stability, and empower them to get paid by the day forever. No matter if you go from job to job, you'll be able to take clock out with you. If you're a current worker, this is an amazing option for you. But also, one of the bigger things that we plan to do and how we really are going to expand our scope and vision and customer acquisition model as well is that if you can integrate a job portal where you can not only offer a whole financial wellness package that you can take on for the rest of your professional career, but also give you an entrance point with different good um, working opportunities for you to get going, get open your first bank account, start earning your first wage, start doing your first investment, your first savings account. This is something that we're looking forward to building. And at the end of the day, we're building a whole bank product powered by your daily earnings.
I love it. I love it. Any last things you want to bring up or shout out or talk about that I didn't cover?
Well, I think the Techstars team, this wouldn't have been possible with them. Going through Techstars was definitely an amazing opportunity, and I really recommend to any founder or anyone that's really looking to build a long-term and healthy company to go and apply to Techstars Farm to Fork. The team did an amazing job at not only preparing us, coaching us, but really letting us think bigger and executing faster, which is amazing. And that's something that I'm truly grateful of, and I will never forget about.
And then before we wrap this up, shout out any website or Twitter account or social media handles that you think are important for people to check out if they want to follow your progress.
Yeah, sure thing. If you guys want to follow up, you can look me up in Twitter, j.cubadu, or at join clockout. You can follow us also in LinkedIn Facebook and IG, that would be pretty fantastic. And well, we're super excited to chat and work with not only angel investors, but other stage funds that are invested in financial technology, future of work, and overall ESG solutions.
Got it. Got it. Well, Juan, I really appreciate your time. I can tell you're very enthusiastic about this and passionate. And I think at the earliest stages of venture capital, those are some of the most important factors when you're assessing
Totally.
a good opportunity. So, appreciate you jumping on and look forward to having the rest of the startup ecosystem hear about you all. Thanks.
Thank you so much for your time, Adam. Have a great day and cheers, everyone.